I would now like to invite Alicia Dubois, Vice President, Indigenous Markets, CIBC, to introduce 2020 Top 25 Women of Influence recipient Autumn Peltier to share some welcoming remarks.
Thank you, Marcia. And good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. What a phenomenal turnout. It's so inspiring to get together in rooms like this for celebrations like this. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. I'm pleased to be here to celebrate the Top 25 Women of Influence Award Luncheon. At CIBC, we're committed to helping our clients' ambitions become reality. We know that women are controlling a rising amount of wealth and increasing their influence and control over the Canadian economy. It's a very exciting time. We also understand the significance of Indigenous communities in Canada and their very important contribution to the Canadian economy and to the fabric of our country. At CIBC, we go beyond the traditional banking and demonstrate our commitment to women and Indigenous communities through capacity building, community development, sponsorship opportunities, and of course, corporate donations. In addition to offering banking expertise, we also take an active role in the community at both the national and the local level. Our community involvement means we're better able to understand the specific needs of women and Indigenous communities, allowing us to get the right solutions for unique client needs. Today, I'm honored, as an Indigenous woman myself and as the Vice President of Indigenous Markets for CIBC, to introduce our first guest speaker and one of this year's Top 25 recipients. Autumn Peltier is an Anishinabek Nation Chief Water Commissioner, the Anishinabek Chief Water Commissioner. This is an impressive role, led by an impressive woman. It's been a fabulous few minutes in getting a chance to speak with her. There's this amazing existence of both the teenager and also the leader in her, and it comes out apparently when you're discussing matters with her. At the age of 15, Autumn has already spent years advocating for water protection in First Nations communities, taking her message all the way to the United Nations General Assembly last year. Please join me in a warm welcome for Autumn Peltier.
Bojo, Musqueagee, Kwe Dijnakas, Megese Dodem, Wukong Kungdonjiba. My name is Autumn Peltier. I'm 15 years old, and I'm from Wacomakong on Manitoulin Island. First, I'd like to acknowledge the land we are meeting on, as this is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the New Credit, the Anishinabek, the Chippewa, and the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, such as the Inuit and Métis. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by the Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the New Credit. So I would also like to thank the members of the Women of Influence team for inviting me here today and being nominated for one of the top 25 Women of Influence. I would also like to acknowledge all the other women in attendance who have been recognized for their hard work. As I look around the room, I see many amazing women here today, and I think of how I am one of these women amongst this group. For age 15, I'm thinking that's a pretty big deal, and I feel very honored. If you asked me 5 years ago if I had given it any thought where I would be in 5 years, I probably wouldn't have been able to tell you. I never imagined standing in a room full of grown-ups delivering keynote addresses around the world. I began speaking for clean water for Indigenous communities when I was 8 years old. At that time, seeing little kids run around not knowing what clean drinking water from a tap was really bothered me. I felt badly and tried to understand why in Canada this is happening. My next discovery was finding out it was primarily the Indigenous communities right across Canada. This is where I began learning that Indigenous children live with boil water advisories in Northern Ontario. Then I learned that some of these communities haven't been able to drink their water for over 25 years and to this day. Not far from here, 6 nations along the Grand River, Sarnia, Manitoulin Island, and a large area of the north can't drink their water. It was within the next few months after learning about boil water advisories that everything my family has been doing my whole life started to make sense. Attending ceremonies, water walks, meetings, and different water ceremonies, I started to see why my great auntie was walking and praying. Josephine never stopped working for the waters, and she sacrificed so much to bring this awareness to everyone. I really started to admire Josephine and her commitment to creating awareness about Canada's water crisis, when no one really understood where we were in the middle of one. What I have learned is things in life mean so much more when you can relate to the people who are suffering. The expression my people say is walk a mile in their moccasins. When you live it and experience the pains and suffering of the people, then you can speak to what the issues are. My people are in a critical time right now. Hundreds of years later, we are still fighting for solidarity and trying to get the federal government to honor our original treaties. For once, let the land and the animals win in this long dispute. We depend on the earth, animals, and plants. We need the water protected. My auntie was 77 years old when she passed away, exactly 1 year ago. She spoke up for the water since 2003. She was and is still my inspiration. Her health deteriorated really impacted me and how she kept going until her last days. When she left us, I wondered what would happen to the water and who would keep her work going. I also wondered if I will still be doing this work if I make it to 77. That's 62 years away. If the planet even lasts 60 more years. Lots of big thoughts about youth should not be worried about. But when the children start to notice, then you know something is very wrong. My Auntie Josephine told me the day before she passed to keep going. Things are gonna get hard. People will stop you, but don't stop. Don't stop at the work and keep loving the water. I had no idea she was mentoring me. And then one day I would be honored and put in her role as the Chief Water Commissioner for the Anishinabek Nation. Those are big footprints to follow, but she cleared the way for all of us. So many good things have been happening, and my message and her work continues. I have traveled across the ocean a few times to share my teachings and story. I have been from ocean to ocean and into the United States. I have spoken in front of world leaders at the World Economic Forum and the United Nations. My message is being heard. I do this in honor of her and for my people. I do this for the ones who don't have a voice and for my great-great-grandchildren who aren't even here yet. I do this for our planet so we can have a future. I think about how one day I'm going to be an ancestor, and I want my grandchildren to know I tried my best to make their world a better place. I also think about how my ancestors prayed for me. They prayed for each and every one of you sitting here today. You are someone's hope and prayer, and that's what keeps me going. With that last thought, and in closing, the land is our government. Everything that affects the land impacts us, just like a baby in the womb. Whatever we do, whatever we eat, it affects the baby. We are part of this land, and we need to work together no matter what color we are, what nationality we are, and no matter how rich or poor we are. We all need clean water, and we all need to live together in harmony. My auntie would tell me that we could do this, and we just have to do it. Stop waiting and put your ideas into action because we are running out of time. Be the change and just do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Autumn. Very timely. Thank you, Autumn, for your dedication to your activism and for leading a new generation of change makers. Your aunt would be very, very proud of you.